welcome back to Miss Cindy's Kitchen. Tonight we're going to show you a classic recipe for chocolate chip cookies with walnuts. And everybody loves a good chocolate chip cookie, and I find that the Nestle recipe is the best. So anyway, make sure you like and subscribe and share to your friends and give us your feedback. And this recipe is available online. We'll try to put a link in our description. It's the Nestle original chocolate chip cookie recipe. It's super easy to find online. And so far I've got 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, to which I'm going to add 1 teaspoon each baking soda and salt. So here is the salt, just regular table salt. So a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking powder. Alright. So you always want to start by getting your dry ingredients prepared. And that's mixing your flour with what other dry ingredients you have. In this case, it's 2 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, a teaspoon salt, teaspoon soda. So that's together. And then I have 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. And also 3/4 cup of white sugar. All sugars matter. All right. Okay. And to that, I'm going to add 2 sticks of softened butter for a total of 1 cup of softened butter. Butter is conveniently packaged in 1/2 cup sticks, so you don't really have to think about the measurements. And even the ones that come in the 1 pound blocks, the wrappers are marked, so you can actually cut off a 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, whatever part you need.
How about a sippy cup?
Nah. That wouldn't fit on the box of butter. Alright, so we're going to get the margarine. I was just talking to my daughter about margarine. We're going to get the butter mixed. So you always want to cream your butter and sugar for at least 5 minutes till it's light and creamy. So while that's getting ready, I'm going to crack the eggs. And I didn't get them out earlier, but anyway, I did set them out earlier. So
You conveniently have 2 eggs left.
well, what I had done is I had a few eggs left in that carton, and then I was also making carrot cake tonight. So I added enough from the other carton of eggs to that carton so I'd have enough for what I was baking tonight. Because you always want to have your eggs at room temperature when you bake, because the ingredients come together better. And it has something to do with the way it emulsifies together, and that's when you have ingredients blending. So I've been told too many times at work that I've used too many big words, and I'm like, you know what? I read and I know things, so I use big words. If you don't know big words, try reading something besides Facebook.
How about Twitter?
Twitter can actually be both good and bad. It's actually very entertaining. And what I will do now is get our chocolate chips ready. This is a giant bag of chocolate chips that I got at Costco. And we can get a bowl out here. Olivia has smell-o-vision. These chips smell fantastic.
What kind of chocolate chips are they?
They are the Kirkland semi-sweet chocolate chips.
Alright.
I'm using the Nestle recipe, but Costco chips were cheaper, so. And I was at Costco, and I didn't see Nestle. They have their house brands. So, there's 1 and 2. Alright. So let me check the butter mixture. Make sure it is blending together nicely. You always want to scrape down your bowl throughout the blending process. So you want to have it to be light and creamy. So that has to do with aerating the fat particles in the butter. So there's reasons for everything you do in the baking process. So, all right. So now that I've got that measured, let me also measure out a cup of nuts, because I'm going to put in some walnuts. And these are actually really neat walnuts. They have red skins on them. And when I first got them, I was surprised, but just like we have black walnuts, we have red walnuts. They're just a different breed of walnut. So, I have a friend at work that loves my baked goods, so she requested both carrot cake, she says it's habit forming, and some chocolate chip cookies for her husband, so that's what I'm making. So now that the butter and sugar is blended, I'm going to add in our eggs one at a time. You just plop one in at a time and let it blend in. Once it gets blended in, you can drop in the other one. If you want to come get a look at the eggs dancing around the mixing bowl. So let me drop this down and scrape down the sides. So this is a very classic chocolate chip cookie recipe.
So what's the difference between this Nestle Classic recipe and the Toll House recipe?
It's actually, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
And the name, the Toll House, came from the invention of the chocolate chip cookie, because apparently there was a lodging called the Toll House, and the innkeeper actually added some chopped chocolate to her sugar cookie recipe, and everybody loved it, and that started the chocolate chip cookie. That's not the exact story, that's just my paraphrase version, but that works. So, and now you can see that this is, you want it to be very well blended.
Wow.
And that's the reason you have your ingredients at room temperature, because they incorporate better. And before we forget, we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And you can tell how much I bake because this is a Costco sized bottle of vanilla and it is almost gone.
It's just a bloop, right?
Just a little bloop. I very seldom actually put vanilla in a spoon, but it works. So now we're going to gradually add our flour ingredients. And you always want to have your mixer on low, or else you'll have a big poof of flour come out. So you just want to watch it gradually mix in. And then as it mixes, add a little more. Let that mix in. And add a little more. And a little more. Alright, let me double check the temperature for this. I already have my oven at 350 from the carrot cake I made, so I'm going to switch it up to 375. But actually, I think our oven runs a little warm, so I'm going to leave it at 350. Because the other night, Madison made chocolate chip cookies, and they spread too much at 375. So I'm going to leave the temperature down at 350. Because I was reading up on why cookies spread, and it's either because the ingredients are too warm, or the oven is too warm, or you're putting them on a hot cookie sheet, are the three main reasons cookies spread. So, alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually add these. So if you drop down your mixer bowl and let the beater spin a little bit, you can get a lot of the dough off. However, this dough's really thick. So I'm just gonna scoop it back into the bowl. Doesn't that look delicious?
Does look good.
So I'm gonna do that, and let me grab a spoon. I'm gonna set that aside for someone to lick if they want to. All right. I'm going to use a nice sturdy spoon. So, going to put in the 2 cups of chocolate chips and the 1 cup of chopped nuts, and then stir it by hand.
Now, just out of curiosity, why did you prefer to stir it by hand?
It's just easier because that way it doesn't overmix the dough. You just want to stir it just until mixed, or until it's incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
So, ugh. So see, it's getting all the way to the bottom, just to make sure it's all the way mixed. All right, so now I'm going to show you how I scoop out the cookies. And I use a standard cookie scoop. And I just level it against the bowl. This gives you uniform sized cookies. I do 3 across and 4 down. So while we wrap this up with scooping out the cookies, make sure you like and subscribe and share to your friends and give us your feedback. And we'll bring you back and show you how many trays of cookies this made. And we scooped out a total of 4 dozen cookies. I've currently got 2 dozen in the oven and 2 dozen waiting. And investing in a cookie scoop is a good way to make uniform cookies. And they look a lot, they just have a pretty presentation if you have a nice cookie scoop. So anyway, we'll bring you back when they're out of the oven and show you the yummy goodness. And we have successfully baked 4 dozen cookies. This is the last 2 trays to come out of the oven.
Nice.
So we decided that 350 degrees is the optimum temperature for the chocolate chip cookies, and about 12 minutes. Set your timer for 10 and then keep on checking them. So you need to let them cool on the sheet pans for 2 minutes, then on the cooling rack. So this is the previous batch, and I already set some aside for a friend who purchased some from me. She likes my baked goodies. So any of you all who live local to us, let me know if you want to buy some of my baked goodies. I like to bake.
Tell them they can leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
My shop too.
Oh yeah, well Madison has a little shop for her stuff too. I put her on camera, but she just rolled out of bed.
Yeah. I was just stubbing my toes.
So Madison, what is it? You also sell cookies and?
Yeah, I sell cookies and cake and stuff. 4 bags of cake for $1 each. Well, each package is $1, not like every cookie's $1.
How many is in a package?
Depends on the cookie.
Depends on the
Make
cookie.
them last
2 to 3.
2.
Yeah, 2 to 3. Maybe if the cookies are small, 4. It really depends.
Look, these ones ran together. And I read a tip for if cookies come out of the oven and they're misshapen or they're stuck together. When you separate them, you can use like the ring of a mason jar and kind of shape them while they're still warm.
Huh.
Or you probably do that with like even a drinking glass, but these are just to eat, so.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I baked 2 different batches of cookies chocolate chip cookies, and they both came out runny. So you want to explore why that happened?
Yeah.
I think the reason the cookies came out runny is because the oven was too hot, or the ingredients, like the butter, was too soft, making the dough soft. So to counteract that, you could chill the dough prior to baking. But I think the best option is just to reduce the oven temperature to 350, because that's what I did and they came out really good. So ovens can run hot. It's always good to calibrate your oven periodically with a thermometer. But anyway, err on the side of a lower temperature if you're in question as to what is the right temperature. You can always cook it longer, but the higher temperature, it's more apt to burn or spread. So anyway,
And what'd you tell me about hot cookie sheets?
yeah, you need to let the cookie sheets
Okay, now
cool.
I gotta put your cut on camera just a little bit.
Yeah. And if you're reusing the same cookie sheets in between batches, you need to let them cool completely. So otherwise the dough will spread. So anyway, everybody's enjoying the cookies.
They're good.
So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you again for joining us, and we'll be back again soon with more recipes.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.